Well, good morning. My name is Willie Lawson, and this is the Morning Report for October 12th, 2022. I trust that you are well this glorious, fantastic, incredible day. So it's a little overcast and looks like it might rain later, but it's still, it's still a good day. Like I keep trying to tell you guys, remember this. Every day is a great day. Just some days it's raining. Now, it may be raining for real or maybe raining metaphorically. In my house right now, it's kind of raining metaphorically. So I appreciate all the prayers you guys can send our way here in my house. I really appreciate that. But again, every day is a good day. Just some days it's raining. I am thrilled to be able to sit in front of you here and with you and go through a bunch of these issues. It is potpourri. When the categories from Jeopardy, remember how the categories go across the top? This is potpourri. There's a little bit of everything. A little bit of everything. Unfortunately, potpourri is supposed to smell nice. You put it in the dresser drawers and the cedar cabinets to make them smell nice. None of this smells nice. Most of this smells like poop. Maybe it's poopy potpourri. That's what it is. Poopy potpourri today, and lots of it. Listen, the Morning Report is brought to you by fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. We appreciate you going to the website, checking out the video and the audio recording. We also try to put it up on fightbackmediatv.com. We try to get the video up on YouTube. We have to be really careful about what we put up on YouTube because we want to keep it going. Want to actually be in front of as many people as we can. YouTube is crunching us down to almost nothing. We realize that. That's why I'm asking you, if you have not been on YouTube and you've not subscribed to Fight Back Media Group, please do. Please do. I'd love to get to 1,000 subscribers. I'd love to have another shot at some sort of minimal monetization. If the only monetization we could get every month would pay for our Spreaker account, I can't tell you how much that would mean to us, because that would give us that money to do something else with, Facebook ads or Google ads or something to expand. So if you could help us do that just by subscribing, we need to have 1,000 subscribers and 4,000 hours in a viewing there in a 12-month period. And I think that's very, very possible. So if you could do that for us, we would be very, very appreciative. All right, listen, we're going to take a little break. We'll be back with more of the program right after these messages. All righty, folks. All righty. Again, I hope that you're ready for some potpourri, because we're going to come at you hard, fast and furiously here. Remember we talked about yesterday that the Democrats really believe that abortion is really their wedge issue. That's the issue. That's the issue that's going to get them, a win in November. And we said that's probably not. The polls aren't showing that. And this is an interesting voice. I haven't thought of this guy in a while, frankly, because I don't think about him very often anyway. But on Monday, Senator Bernie Sanders, independent, quote, end quote, from Vermont, who caucuses with the Democrats, who's a Democrat, has some advice for the party in an op-ed piece for The Guardian. The title of it, Democrats shouldn't focus only on abortion in the midterms. That's a mistake. The headline read. It's also serving as a warning. The piece featured as part of Tuesday's Real Clear Politics picks as Democrats shouldn't focus only on abortion in 2022. Senator Sanders is certainly pro-abortion and touts his lifetime 100% pro-choice voting record on his opening sentence. He also writes that the abortion issue is a fight that most Americans want to wage, and given the Republicans' extremist position on the issue, makes them genuinely vulnerable. Extremists. The extreme position with these people is that we don't want you to kill your baby. We don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't want you to kill your baby. I want to take the rapist and I want to castrate them. And then I want to take what's left and shove it in a wood chipper, a running wood chipper. That's what I want to do to the rapist. Those that would commit incest, I want to castrate them. And then I want to shove what's left of them in a wood chipper. Head first. That's what I want to do. I guess all we can do in most places is put them in jail for the rest of their lives. And in some places, like Florida, we can put a needle in their arm. That's what I want to do to them. But I don't want to kill the baby. That's not an extreme position. But he writes this. But as we enter the final weeks of the 2022 midterm elections, I am alarmed to hear the advice that many Democratic candidates are getting from establishment consultants and directors of well-funded super PACs that the closing argument of Democrats' focus should only on abortion. Cut the 30-second abortion ads from coast to coast to victory. No, I disagree. In my view, while the abortion issue must remain on the front burner, it would be political malpractice for Democrats to ignore the state of the economy and allow Republican lies and distortions to go unanswered. There are no lies and aren't any distortions. Things cost more. Food costs more. This is when they screw up. It's one thing if cars cost more. Most people don't need a car. They don't have, I have to have this car now. No. It's one thing if gas prices go up. There are ways to, get around, and not drive as often. There are ways to ameliorate that. But when food goes up, but not only it goes up and then some of it maybe formula becomes not available, then your politics, your partisanship, out the window. Out the frickin' window. When feeding my children becomes an issue for me, I don't care about anything else you have to say. When feeding my children is an issue, when I'm working 40 hours a week plus and I'm having trouble feeding my children, it isn't that I'm okay, I can't get that, I can't get all that ribeye steak because it's really expensive anymore. But when I see that I'm having trouble feeding my children, when I'm seeing that, that the baby formula that I need to feed my baby, because for one reason or another, I can't breastfeed. Screw your politics. Screw your consultants and your super PACs. That's what's happening, Democrats. And some of them see it. But the people I mentioned, the high-paid consultants and the super PACs, don't see it at all. The precipice for the rest of Sanders' op-ed then is to focus on the economy. He charges Republicans as anti-workers. Well, of course he would, because he's a freaking socialist. He's a socialist. He's a Workers' Party guy. If he thought he could run on the Workers' Party and not be found out as a socialist, communist, he would. That's who that dude is. The blame is all on the Republicans, with no mention of how the middle and lower classes that he came to care about suffered under the Biden administration. So he wants to do what they normally do. Want to blame the Republicans for everything because they just didn't go along like lambs to the slaughter. That's as dumb as putting abortion, front page to try to win the 2020 midterms. But the truth of the matter is, they ain't got nothing. They got nothing. They've got an economy that sucks butt. They've got a culture war that is the worst thing. They've got Girls will be girls will be boys, and boys will be girls. They got Lola, Lola. They can't win with that. They do what Democrats do and leftists do all the time. They always overstep. They always go too far. They always go too far, and now they have gone too far. Speaking of gone too far, U.S. Department of Education revealed more information this week about how Americans will be able to secure the supposed benefit of President Joe Biden's student loan bailout, even though the application for forgiveness is still not open and the lawsuits challenging the legality of Biden's plan pile up. What is seemingly clear, though, is that the situation is ripe for fraudulent claims to exploit Biden's bailout offer to wipe away $10,000 or $20,000 from student loan accounts and pass on to American taxpayers. Like, yeah, this might, I mean, here's the deal. You can't just say, okay, so you don't owe that anymore, and it goes away. This is not the day of Jubilee. Somebody is going to pay for it. Someone is going to pay for it. According to the Education Department's preview of the applications and subsequent tweets from the White House, individuals will only need to provide their name, social security number, date of birth, phone number, and email address, but won't require any supporting documents related to their federal student loans, nor will those seeking relief need to tie their applications to already existing federal student loan identifiers. What's your name? What's your social? When were you born? What's your phone number and an email address? And we'll figure it out. That's it. That's it. Oddly enough, the White House is seemingly heralding the simplicity and lack of verification check for the student debt relief application in the series of tweets. That's sure to pique the interest of ill-intended fraudsters who seek a pot of federal dollars up for grabs. Still, the White House and Education Department have not announced when the applications will go live this month. So when you need, if you are applying for this, it ain't just going to be Democrat leftists applying for this. If you can get $20,000 taken off, you're probably going to. Remember this, though. If you get $10,000 taken off, that turns into income. All this year. If you get $20,000 taken off, that turns into income. I get a $20,000 raise. So you'll be liable for that $20,000 and the tax on that $20,000 turns into income. Those seeking to have their student debt balance eased won't need to log in or enter their federal student ID credentials or provide any loan numbers or upload any past records to show whether an individual received Pell Grants as part of their federal aid. They also won't have to enter any tax information or upload tax returns proving their income falls into the brackets eligible for loan relief. Instead, applicants need only self-attest to the eligibility under penalty of perjury and threat of jail time. Well, if you're lying, you could be put in jail. Okay. My name is, my social is, my phone number, fightbackmedia@gmail.com. When do I get my check? You won't get a check. You'll get some notice that your student loan balance may be gone, or it'll go down precipitously. But the only way a fraudster, intentional or accidental, will get caught is if the Biden administration checks each application, the applicant's social security number against their tax filing to confirm eligibility. and then pulls the student's FAFSA records and federal aid statements to see whether a person received Pell Grants, thereby qualifying them for double the loan forgiveness. The Department of Education said that borrowers should expect relief within a matter of weeks, raising even more questions about what, if any, scrutiny will be given to applicant eligibility. And with more than 40 million Americans estimated to be eligible under Biden's student loan bailout, it is clearly unlikely the Biden administration can verify a majority of applicants' information and approve or deny their request. And no, it's just not Democrat downing skepticism to question the Biden administration's process. The administration has confirmed that they won't be looking at everyone's application. And they fail to provide any concrete criteria to indicate how many applicants will receive extra scrutiny based on some belief that the borrower made more than the income threshold. But there's one more problem. The Department of Education, as Politico noted, lacks income information for most borrowers, meaning that most individuals who might apply for loan relief don't have known characteristics when it comes to how much they make and therefore whether they're eligible for the program at all. So what could go wrong? With the Biden administration, the federal bureaucracy in general, we know all too well how unaccountable federal programs can run amok. The Biden administration and Democrats have insisted that the student loan bailout will only help those who need it and push back on claims that doctors, lawyers, at all will receive any of the supposed benefits of Biden having the means to repay their loans. But with a lack of intent to verify eligibility and the rush to get tens of millions of balances reduced in just a few weeks, it's clear that Biden's plan is ripe for fraud and will further punish American taxpayers. Article from Town Hall, written by our friend Spencer Brown. It's going to be a cluster, you know what? It is going to be a cluster, you know what? Isn't it? It just is. There's no way that it's not going to be. And I have a lot of friends who are up to here with student loans. And some of them are up to here. How did this happen? The initials ROI were not included in all of their post-secondary educational attempts and life. It just wasn't. They decided to go into fields that were never going to pay for their student loans. And they got their degrees from places that cost too much damn money. All of this, with all this going on, none of it addresses the real problem. Why is college so expensive? Why does it cost so damn much? Why do you need to take out hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans? For what? Why? For why? What are they providing? What kind of experience, what kind of situation is the University of Florida or the University of Texas or anywhere, especially public schools? I'm not talking about private schools. How about public schools? What are they offering that you need to take out hundreds of thousands of dollars in student loans to get a degree for a job that only pays $40,000 a year or even $50,000 a year after 10 years? What the hell? It doesn't make good sense. It just doesn't make good sense. It's stupid. We'll take a little break. We'll be back with more of the program right after these messages. All right, Ken, welcome back. We appreciate you being here. My name is Willie Lawson. This is the Morning Report, a production of fightbackmedia.com, fightbackmedia.com, and fightbackmediatv.com. Listen, again, we are everywhere. We're like Savoir Faire. Savoir Faire is everywhere. Okay, I dated myself, but I don't care. You can check us out on where you see podcasts. If there's podcasts there, we're there too. Just search for Fight Back Media, or just search for me, Willie Lawson, or the Morning Report, wherever. Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Deezer, Castbox, iHeart, iHeart, maybe is it iHeartRadio? iHeartRadio.com. You bet, wherever we're going to be there. Or you can go right to the source. You can go to Spreaker.com. You can download the Spreaker app on your phone and check us out there. Appreciate it. We've got listeners from all over the world, which is really very cool. We talked a little bit about that yesterday. We did a video about that yesterday on YouTube. We do a video, the video that you're watching. You'll be able to see either on YouTube, you'll be able to see it on Rumble. Again, BitChute. If somebody can tell me why BitChute is worth the trouble, send me an email at fightbackmedia@gmail.com. If someone can tell me why BitChute is worth the trouble, send me an email at fightbackmedia@gmail.com. Seriously, BitChute? Yeah. Anyway, that's where you'll find us. So you check it out then. All right, let's get back to the fun, back to the frivolity, back to the insanity of where we're living in. And it is insane. Truly, it is insane. In Pennsylvania, a dude named John Fetterman, who's the mayor of the small town in Pennsylvania, is running for the Senate seat. I believe Pat Toomey is resigning and is running against Dr. Oz for that Senate seat. So yesterday, an NBC reporter, Dasha Burns, did her job. Well, it's probably the end of her career, and revealed the truth about the health of the Democrat U.S. Senate hopeful and Pennsylvania Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman. He suffered a stroke over the summer, which nearly killed him, and has been basically absent from the campaign trail ever since. But the dude had a stroke, okay? He's also refused to release his medical records or make his doctors available for direct questioning. Okay. So after sitting down for an interview with Fetterman, Dr. Burns explains he did not understand the questions she asked, and that without a large monitor translating text for him before he gave answers, small talk was difficult, impossible. Many of Fetterman's answers were either off topic or confusing. But Fetterman's leftist media allies aren't happy about the exposure, and some are attacking Burns for simply telling the truth. Cameron Cawthorn tweets, Brian Tyler Cohen and Kara Swisher weren't in the room with NBC's Dr. Burns for the interview or off camera, but they insist that she must be bad at small talk and pushing a mind-numbing false narrative because they disagree with her experience interviewing Fetterman. Kara Swisher said, sorry, but I talked to John Fetterman for over an hour without a stop or any aids, and this is just nonsense. Maybe this reporter is just bad at small talk. Rebecca Traister tweeted, as someone who has recently interviewed him, Fetterman's comprehension is not at all impaired. He understands everything, and it's just that he reads it, which requires an extra acuity. I'd argue, and responded in real time. It's a hearing and auditory processing challenge. Well, because he had a stroke. I think there's some problems with John Fetterman outside of his medical condition. There is no doubt that John Fetterman has a medical condition. He had a stroke that nearly killed him. There's no doubt that he has a medical condition. So meanwhile, CNN is atypically stepping up to talk about the facts. Burns is sticking to her account of Fetterman's responses, which can also be seen in her interview. The, the thing is, he's sick. He's not healthy. What I would wish is that he would. You know what? It reminds me of what's happened in in the White House. A lot of president. Our president should not be in the White House. Our president should be in his home in Delaware, enjoying what he has left of his life, enjoying his grandkids, enjoying his wife. I blame Jill Biden for this. She's supposed to be his helpmate. And if John Fetterman is married, I blame his wife for this, or his children. Mr. Fetterman is not well. He survived a massive stroke that almost killed him. It should be his health and the rest of his life that matters more than any of this political BS, more than being a U.S. senator who needs a monitor with the words on it so he can communicate. No. Thank you, Dasha, for telling the truth. Can't be easy from where you stand. It can't be easy from where you stand. It can't be. We appreciate you, though. Thank you so much. All right. Mitt Romney. This is why the phrase all the skin folk ain't kin folk. Most of y'all have never heard that. I'll say it again. All skin folk ain't kin folk. Mitt Romney is still Mitt Romney. Mitt Romney will not support fellow Utah Republican Mike Lee. President Donald Trump issued a statement hammering Republican Senator Mitt Romney over his lack of support for fellow Utah Republican Mike Lee as he faces re-election in November. Mike is an outstanding senator who has been abused in an unprecedented way by fellow Republican senators from his own state, something which rarely has happened in political history. Such an event would only be understandable if Mike did not perform his duties as a U.S. senator, but he has. And he has performed them well. Mitt Romney is the junior senator from the great state of Utah, which I won twice in a landslide. Once by beating the candidate, even McMullen, who is currently running against Senator Lee. Trump said, McMuffin doesn't represent the values of Utah, but neither, as you will see in 2 years, does Mitt Romney, who refuses to endorse his fellow Republican Senator Mike Lee. Mike should now accept the fact that and go on and win the race against a man who should have, based on a failed career as a politician, no chance of winning. Mike Lee is outstanding and has my complete and total endorsement. Mitt Romney and Evan McMuffin can count on the fact that they will never have my endorsement. Earlier this year, Romney told us he planned to stay out of the race, citing both Lee and McMullen are friends. I don't think endorsements make any difference in a race to speak of. People in the race are my friends. I usually try to avoid the situations where they've been friends. I may endorse, I may not, but I really haven't given it any thought at this point, Romney said. But that hasn't stopped Lee from trying and wanting the consequences if he doesn't win re-election. They're both his friends. Bullcrap. Romney won't endorse Lee because Lee and Trump are close. Remember, Romney voted to impeach Trump. I'm gobsmacked. DeSantis stuns the latest restoration announcement. As Hurricane Ian inched closer to making landfall in Florida, the leftists could barely contain their excitement over the prospect that, depending on how Governor Ron DeSantis handled it, the weather event provided an opportunity to break the Republican. It's awful, awful. Governor Ron DeSantis spent his first term becoming one of the most influential Republicans in the country, Politico wrote on September 27th, one day before the storm arrived in Southwest Florida, but he hasn't faced one of the toughest challenges a Florida leader can encounter, a hurricane. Yeah, I guess he did. Apparently forgetting about Hurricane Sally, Politico continued, depending on how well the governor responds to the potentially catastrophic storm, DeSantis may emerge more popular or open himself up to criticisms. Politico wasn't the only leftist outlet to salivate over the test of DeSantis' leadership, but to their dismay, DeSantis has knocked it out of the park when it comes to recovery efforts. After temporarily restoring the bridge to Pine Island in less than 3 days, DeSantis got to work on nearby Sanibel Island, where the causeway and only land access to the island was broken in 3 locations by the hurricane. During a press conference on Tuesday, DeSantis explained how equipment and supplies had been brought in by air and barge, but much more was necessary. Trucks needed to be able to drive there to continue repairs. And if work wasn't done immediately on it, nothing would be happening on the island. So wait, they did not. Always a master at optics, DeSantis was delivering the remarks. A massive convoy of 200 bucket trucks, 150 line and pickup trucks, towing 50 trailers, 2 tractor trailers. The first responders descended on the island. It was a remarkable scene that lifted the spirits of those who call the island home and the scores of others who returned to this special place year after year. The news got even better when DeSantis announced full repairs will be completed by October 21st, allowing full-time civilian traffic once again. David Rubin tweeted, "This brought so much joy to my heart. Love that island so much. I am so proud to be a Floridian." Denny Burke said, "I'm gobsmacked. Ron DeSantis just announced the reopening of Sanibel Causeway. An enormous convoy just crossed over the restored bridge. It will be open to the public on October 21st. Unbelievable. Hallelujah." While there is no denying how much work it needs to be done and how long it will take to restore areas that are absolutely just devastated by Hurricane Ian to their former glory, DeSantis has proven himself an immensely capable and determined leader who will only come out of this stronger no matter what attacks the left throws at him. What do you think? If you like the kind of thing we're talking about, send us an email at fightbackmedia@gmail.com, fightbackmedia@gmail.com. If you click the subscribe button right down there somewhere, click the subscribe button on our YouTube channel. Join us, watch some videos. We need 1,000 subscribers, and we need over 4,000 hours of views. So do this: subscribe, comment, share it like crazy. All right. You remember the Supreme Court candidate who was asked what a woman was and she didn't know? Well, she said, "I can't describe it. I don't know. I'm not a doctor." Or what? She said, "I'm not a physician, I'm not a doctor." Is that what she said? I don't remember. It was dumb. But nothing Democrats do right now is simple. And the stuff they do semi well looks like a tire fire. They deal with a party leader with atrocious approval ratings, and an economic recession, high inflation, an out of control border crisis. The spike in crime has also resonated in suburban areas. which is why Dr. Mehmet Oz, the Republican Senate candidate in Pennsylvania, has chipped away at the double-digit lead of his Democratic opponent, Lieutenant Governor John Fetterman. The question about defining women is an easy layup. It couldn't get more straightforward than on this debate stage. Forget layup, it's a slam dunk. And yet, Democrats trip over their tongues over political correctness constraints in the race between the Iowa Republican Representative Ashley Hinson and Democrat Liz Mathis. This subject of discussion was brought up at the Rotary Club event in Waterloo, Iowa. And Mathis offered a weird response. Liz Mathis, a Democrat who is seeking to represent Iowa's 2nd congressional district, said this week that defining a woman is a, quote, tough question, end quote, and suggested that the only way to change controversial policies in a particular school district in the state is to vote for different board members. The remark came from Mathis, the remarks from Mathis came Monday during a meet and greet at Waterloo, Iowa Rotary Club, where she took questions from those in attendance on a number of subjects, including gender and education. Asked about the instance when the Supreme Court nominee, Ketanji Brown Jackson, was asked to define a woman and could not because she is not a biologist. Mathis said the Supreme Court confirmation process is very thorough. So they had to ask questions like that to a Supreme Court justice. I'm glad she answered that question. She added, that's a tough question. What? What? This is what we're dealing with. This is whom we're dealing with. It would seem on November 8th, the answer to these questions would be easy. I hope for all our sakes that they are. I'm going to take a little break. We'll be back more of the program right after these messages. All right. Again, thank you again for coming to the Morning Report. My name is Willie Lawson. The Morning Report is production of fightbackmedia.com, 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 and fightbackmediatv.com. Until we see you again, go out there and learn something, love somebody, and for goodness sakes, y'all take care of yourself. We'll see you when we see you. Bye-bye now.